I'm starting to look for jobs to apply to. I have no idea what I want to do, as many people don't when they're looking for their first jobs. But it's just so crazy because all of these jobs that sound perfect in some way are very different and could lead you just to such different pathways. I have to straighten out my resume and my LinkedIn and everything. The most challenging part about my resume right now is writing about my Shutter experience because, first of all, it was a company that I co-founded, so it's kind of hard to describe succinctly what we did because we did everything. I don't know. Obviously, it's easier to get a job. That's my mom. New favorite quote. It's easier to get a job when you have a job. And I also kind of worry that just because I walked away from it, that might look bad, even though I feel like that was the right decision. Yeah, there are a lot of things that you have to think about, which is really good. So today is a day in my life of an unemployed millennial, finding a job search, not quite sure what I'm gonna title this. And there are kind of a lot of things that I wanna touch on in this video. But basically, what I'm first working on is rewriting my resume. So as you guys know, I'm kind of a perfectionist. A resume is the epitome symbol of it's not only a representation of who I am and what I'm worth, according to society, it's also a representation of my writing, so it has to live up to that. And so for me, I never wanted to start my resumes. It's not a thought process or a mindset shift that has helped. It's actually the way that I'm writing, writing tactics that I use that have helped me to tackle this a lot better, and have also just helped me to write anything in general. And I think it's just really helped a lot with mental clarity. Okay, I'm outside and there's so many birds that just chirp and it's so calm and peaceful and relaxing. So these little techniques are kind of to tackle and solve different things if you have issues like me. So the first one is to I've talked about this before, but journal, do morning pages, or any sort of writing. I think it's important just to write anything. So what I've started doing, I have a yoga Instagram. I'm kind of shaping where I want it to go, or what I want it to look like. It's just kind of my little creative project right now. But mostly I'm focusing on the writing that I'm doing for the captions. But what I've started doing first is just writing out what I would want a caption to be, because I noticed that I would type them out and then they got super long and I was I don't want these to be this long. I want them to be digestible and easy to read so that anyone just scrolling through it could be oh, yoga sounds really cool, I'll try it, because that's the message that I'm trying to spread is everyone should do yoga. But they were getting super lengthy, so I decided to start writing them out on paper first, and that's really helped writing more succinctly. It just gives you confidence in your writing. I think you're I can form sentences that look good, even though this seemed kind of just top of head to do and write down. These are good thoughts and ideas, and if they're not good, you just erase them. And I think that just gives you a really good ball to get started, to get the ball rolling for taking on more serious writing projects. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm going to write a caption for my Instagram, yoga Instagram, which is pretty much, I think, gonna help me with tackling on finishing my resume today. I also always flip my phone down so that I have no distractions and turn all my stuff off. So I pretty much wrote what I think is a solid outline, and you know if it's solid or not, deep down. I don't have to post it right now. It's just a writing activity to get myself writing. So I'm not gonna post it right now, and I'll probably edit it a little bit later when I transfer it onto my phone. So now we're gonna go back inside to talk about the next little tactic, and I'm gonna stop whispering. Okay, so I think this next thing is either more common than I think it is, and it's gonna like be relatable, or it's gonna like expose some like type of neurosis I have. Especially when you have a lot to do and you're thinking about your future, it can be hard just to like get started, even though that would be the best thing for you to do. And a lot of people don't have a problem with that, but I think if you're kind of like more of a thinker, it can kind of like weigh down on you. So something that I've recently started doing and kind of have been testing it out, but every single time I actually consistently do it, I get a lot more done. What you do, you just start at any time that you like start this process. On Tuesday, April 23rd, so a little while ago, 10:28 to 10:55, read 4 words of Man's Search for Meaning. Okay. That's what I did. Every single time you switch tasks, you kind of just like look at your watch. If I'm gonna do this, I wear a watch because if you look at your phone, it's just picking up your phone a bunch. So you look at your watch and you note how long you worked on it for. And then you kind of just like write down what you've done. And I think that this can really help show you that either A, once you get into a flow state, you actually work on stuff for a lot longer than you think you do. But then B, if you're not quite there yet, you don't actually work on things for as long as you think you do. You switch tasks a lot or get distracted. And so this has helped me stay on task, but also it has made me more self-aware of like all the breaks I take. This gets excessive. You can do not as many points. Like there are like some 3-hour chunks where I'm just like, yeah, I got ready for yoga, drove to yoga, did yoga, showered, like whatever, ate dinner. And then I'll just like write that as like from whatever to this time, or you can get really deep into it. Sometimes I get really into it just because like it's interesting to see what I do in between tasks of like when I think I'm just sitting and working for a really long period of time, like what I actually do. I've just kind of been like observing what I like do in a day. I think that's kind of fascinating. It's really good if you haven't planned anything for your day, and then you can kind of see how your day was broken up, and then like if you have to do the same thing tomorrow, you can like readjust accordingly. I don't quite know what about it makes me more productive. There's something to do for me with like accountability of like my actions. I think incentivizes me to do stuff like that's more productive. Like, oh, this is only like a 5-minute task and all my other breaks have been like 10-15 minutes of doing nothing or just like scrolling on Instagram. So I'll throw in some like chores there too, because I'm like, oh, that only took 5 minutes and like, look, I got this done. I know that every single time I do it, it works, and I usually end up doing more work than I would have if I like just had done everything blindly. So that's just like a super interesting thing. If any of you try it and it works for you, let me know. But if like you try it and it's like, this is the dumbest thing ever, then let me know too. One of the break activities that I did while I was writing my resume last week is pick out a bunch of shoes from Express. I've shown Express clothes before. I wear their business formal clothes and then their business like casual clothes. I have a partnership with them, and they came out with a spring line. I was like, oh, this is like a little task that I could do within 20 minutes, and so I challenged myself to that. They have a bunch of really cute Steve Madden shoes, and I like Steve Madden as a brand, so I picked out several. Oh my god, these are so cute. I love these already. So these are so cute. I think these will be perfect for summer. Oh my gosh. Also, I will have everything linked below. Those are adorable. Off to a good start. Okay, these are not the same. What is the difference? Okay, interesting. I feel like they kind of like match my hair right now. I'm like really excited about these. These ones, I am gonna admit I saw some later on the site. I thought I had looked through everything, but then of course there was like a recommended on the bottom, and I was like, oh, I didn't see that shoe. So like, gonna be honest, probably would not have picked these if I like took a little bit longer. So like maybe I shouldn't have done that method for this. But these are kind of interesting. This just like really reminds me of Tasha. She might legitimately have these shoes. I really don't think I could pull it off. So I'm probably gonna like return them and exchange them for something else that was on their site, because they had like a ton of really cute same brand shoes. But like someone like Tasha would just like really rock this. I picked out some clothes, and I'm like not even kidding. One of my go-to going out shirts is like an Express top that I initially got for like business casual, but I never wear it for business casual. I just wear it to go out. So this is just like a little tank top, but let me tell you, I love these like types of tops that Express has. I don't really know what this material is called. Oh my god, this was reversible. Oh, that makes it even better. Okay, well that makes me not able to find the tag, so I don't know what this material is called, but I'll link it below. I thought this was really cute, or could be really cute, just for like with high-waisted pants that I always wear. And then this top. Yay, links below. Okay, so the last kind of like tip slash technique is write it out on paper first. Everyone of us probably watching this grew up like typing on a computer since like grade school. You can type really fast, and some people still like writing, and I was always like, why do those people write with their hands? That's like archaic. But I think there is a lot of value to it, actually, as I've already mentioned. I think that I was inspired after listening to like a Tim Ferriss episode with a writer, and I was like, oh my god, this guy is who I want to be when I grow up. Over the last year, I think I've discovered that I love writing, which is like kind of scary to admit because I think it like perks up people's ears to be more judgmental of it. It's just something I love the process of doing. Like you just get lost in it, kind of like yoga, just like kind of like freezes time. And I think something that really helps so much is to write it down on paper first. I write much slower than I can type, and it hurts your hand, don't get me wrong. The first time you like read a page after like being in college and only typing for like 4 years, it's like hard shit, you know. I wrote some of my resume like 3 years ago when I was just a sophomore in college, and I feel like I have such a different, much more mature perspective on it, and also better writing abilities. I just wanted to kind of like rewrite my whole resume for like a lot of the work experience that I have. I was kind of stuck with the outline or template that I already had, and so instead of like being on my computer and looking at that, I literally just took a paper out and started writing like, what do I want to have on this? And so I wrote down some points, and then I went into developing them a little bit more. So this is draft 2 of like my first point, and it took a lot of like takes, and I used some different colors. I didn't use as many colors here, but it took a little while. And then after 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, I'm done with my YouTube work experience like section. It seems like a lot more work at the time, and so like you're not as likely to do it, but I really think it saves some time in the end, helps me focus a lot better and write a lot more succinctly. I also feel like when I'm writing, I keep getting those moments of like, oh, that's another thought, and then you like find out where you wrote it on the paper earlier, and you like stick it up there, and then it all just kind of like makes sense when you reread it. I get a lot of those moments, I think, a lot more than when I'm on my computer. It's distracting enough, and so when you have one of those moments and then you just like look away real fast and you're like, oh, what was it? But with paper, it's just you and the paper and the pen. I think it helps a lot. I think those are all my major like writing tips that I was like gonna talk about. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep going along with my day. Okay. I'm kind of hungry now. It is 3:27, and we're gonna take a little break from resume writing. I tried Sunbasket since my sister made it for me when I was visiting her. I guess the differentiating factor about this like meal service is that like if you're paleo or carb conscious or like vegetarian or gluten-free, or if you have dietary restrictions, and she's been using it for a while. She has a full-time job though, so I'm at the point in my like savings account where I can't really afford these meals, but I could afford when it was like $40 off your first order. But I know that one of the meals is kind of like a rice porridge, and I always post about rice porridge on my Instagram. I go to this place in LA or in K-Town called like Bonjuk. I don't know how to say it in Korean, but it's so good. I'm so excited to try to make it, because if it's a good recipe, then I'm actually gonna make it like all the time. This is not sponsored, but if you guys want $40 off your first order, I can give you the link to get $40 off. The final product is what it looks like. It doesn't look very congee-ish or porridgey. It kind of just looks like rice soup. I'm witnessing a full-on chase right now. Alarmed. Casually just the neighborhood I live in. Okay, well, the helicopter started flying a little bit further down. But yeah, I have to go now. I'm not super like looking forward to it just because I feel like I still have a lot of stuff to do. It's like 6:30 right now. I'll probably get back at like 10:30 to 11, so I'm gonna be there for a while. Hello. Oh. Hi.
Center, twist.
Inhale, center, exhale, twist. Inhale. exhale, inhale,
Inhale,
exhale, center, twist.
like we're in chair.
I know. It's like very rhythmic, so it's like meh, meh, meh.
Don't drink too much water because we will be setting up for our course series. Go ahead and set yourself up into Supta Baddha Konasana sit-ups.
So now we're gonna go practice our sections, and I probably won't vlog anymore.
What sections do you have?
Do I have?
Yeah, what section do you have?
Oh, I just have Sun A, flow through that little baby, and then triangle, like half of triangle.